Noobs! It's time for me to harshly judge some early-stage Proptech. YCombinator just had their 2020 batch demo days, where almost 200 startups had 60 seconds each to present their concept. In the S20 batch, 6 startups were in real estate and construction, and as a real estate developer, Proptech investor, and omnipotent real estate demigod, I'll provide my first impressions of each one, ranked in reverse order of how impactful I think they'll be. Disclaimer! My rankings are entirely subjective, based on my personal perspective on how well their product solves a problem, their addressable market, and their growth and exit prospects. But you're going to agree with me anyway, because my opinions are always 100% correct. Normally, VCs would weight the quality of a startup's founders higher than anything else. Given that they made it into Y Combinator's program, they've already surpassed a very high-quality litmus test. But before I start judging, don't forget to judge me by turning that thumbs up blue and hitting the subscribe button. First up is last place. Inspectify. Oh, come on. Like we really needed a startup with another "ify" at the end of its name. But the idea must make up for it, right? Their tagline is, a managed marketplace for home inspections. Here's a better startup idea. It's software that picks a random 1 to 2 syllable word and adds "ify" or "ly" or "able" to it. Then it generates customer-provider pairs along with software for a managed marketplace that facilitates faster connections between the two. I ran it recursively and it called itself Obliify, and it matches startup founders with a managed marketplace idea. You heard it here first. Okay, back to reviewing Inspectify. Inspectify was founded by Josh Jensen, a former house flipper who's been through the home buying process like 10 times, and he got annoyed by the inspection process. The company provides vetted quotes for home inspectors to buyers and their brokerage firms. Hold up, the company's already turning a profit by taking 15% of the inspection fees, and revenues are growing rapidly. Not bad. They also say the real value is extracting the data generated by these reports and launching an insurance product. So it's actually a data mining company disguised as a marketplace platform. Thumbs down! I don't like this business on either a short-term or long-term basis. I've got a couple inspectors that I use, and I found them through a guy that knows a guy. Inspections never stood out as a pain point in any of my transactions. Not that the process can't use improvement, but I'm particularly unexcited about this one because inspections happen once per transaction. And once I find a good inspector in an area, I won't have to use the platform again. Also, this business model doesn't particularly put a dent in the real estate industry. Their best scenario exit would probably be to get absorbed by an iBuyer or a brokerage that wants their data. Next up is a pair of twins. Ladder, founded by Alex Stewart and Anurag Yachamaneni, and Toolbox, founded by Will Ayi. YCS20 is incubating 2 direct competitors working on a labor marketplace specifically to connect skilled construction labor with contractors. Sounds like they use my new app, Obliify. Okay, these guys are addressing a very real problem that exists in the construction labor market. Contractors need a flexible workforce because they never have precisely the correct number of workers they need for their project load at any given time. Toolbox seems to be the slightly older twin since they already have a functional app. I've actually built a job matching website for a specialized industry before, and there are benefits to this strategy. It gives employers a lot more refined filters, and employees get direct access to the type of employees they specifically need. It improves on the time and effort required to make the employee-employer connection. More recently, there's been construction labor shortages, so it's more important than ever to facilitate quicker job matching. So I called up my GC and gave him a quick description of what these 2 companies are doing. His answer sounded suspiciously like my reaction to Inspectify. I asked one of my guys and they know a guy who knows a guy. Don't worry, my Albanian crew's got it covered. This word-of-mouth method may actually work better than an app during labor shortages. So the scarcity may actually be working against Ladder and Toolbox right now. Thumbs down for the twins. Not just because I hate marketplace matching apps, but more because of the long-term prospects. There are a lot of brewing construction technologies that are aiming to eliminate these skilled jobs entirely. So while it addresses a more short-term problem, I'm curious how adaptable they can be in the face of job automation. It's not like human labor will completely disappear, but why would I need a bricklayer if I've got masonry bot on the job? And why would I need masonry bot if I've got nanobots building my whole building? Maybe they'll have to pivot to renting out robots instead, and become robot sharing economy companies? Another potential exit is to get absorbed by staffing companies like Adecco. Okay, we're halfway through. If you're still watching, I'm doing something right. So even though none of these startups got a thumbs up yet, it's probably because I'm hogging them all. But if you forgot to hit like, now's the time. My number 3 pick is Flat. These guys are the self-proclaimed open door of Mexico. The established disruptor of somewhere where they're not established strategy, also known as copying the smarter guy's homework. Admittedly, I know nothing about the Mexican home market, so my evaluation is based more on the iBuying space in general. iBuying is a relatively young business model led by Opendoor, Redfin, and more recently, Zillow. It's a really interesting approach to evolving brokerage. Home sellers sell directly to an iBuyer, who in turn does some fixes and lists the home using their own brokerage. It doesn't change the brokerage industry. It actually expands upon their role to include fixing and flipping. It's catching on because it clearly improves the selling experience with a really quick sale. What they're attempting to do is eat the lunch of individual fix and flippers with economies of scale and owning the brokerage side of the business. But the toughest part is execution, because this is an insanely difficult risk management business. An iBuyer assumes the market risk by buying someone's home, and it's an incredibly asset-heavy model. In a lot of markets right now, iBuyers have gotten a windfall due to price spikes in a lot of suburban regions where they operate. But if they were in a down market, which may actually just be on the horizon, they'll get stuck holding the bag and have to become property managers with huge amounts of debt to service. Sideways thumb for Flat, because the jury is still out on how successful this model can be. But it's only a matter of time before it crosses a tipping point and obliterates home flippers everywhere. Former Mexico City-based True Home already pivoted out of iBuying to tech-focused brokerage because they saw more opportunity there. In general, I think iBuyers are in a competition to grow as big as they can and IPO, rather than to get bought out by anyone else. Due to the operational complexity, it heavily relies on the capability of the team, which, again, I'm not in a position to evaluate because I don't know any of them personally. Alright, who am I gonna roast next? Number 2 is Atmos, founded by Nicholas Donahue, Trent Hedge, and Matthew Rostovac. Their tagline: the entire home building process all in one place. Sounds suspiciously overambitious. And I'm not a fan of overpromising and underdelivering. Let me check out their website. Okay, where do I want to move? Looks like it's only limited to Charlotte, Chapel Hill, and Raleigh, North Carolina right now. Alright. Next. What? Incredible! The website presents a list of floor plans for single-family homes with the ability to filter by features like style, bed bath counts, price, and more. And then you select a finish package. The last step comes up with the total home cost estimate that includes a 5% service fee and a recommendation for their partner lender or to bring your own lender in. I have never seen anything like this in real estate so far, and it's such a fresh approach to improving the home building process from a buyer's perspective. I imagine at scale, Atmos could accumulate resources that only companies like Toll Brothers would have, and put it in the hands of individuals at a transactional fee. I would like to see this company grow big, because it'll save so many people so much wasted time on learning curves to build their own homes. They just earned a fan. Thumbs up! And finally, my number 1 pick, the unsexiest startup of the whole batch, Tango Builder, founded by 2 engineering PhDs, Juan Aleman and Martin Dees. Their tagline is that they automate structural engineers' jobs. Who cares about structural engineering? I do! It's typically an early critical path item because it's done later in the architectural drawing and filing process when we're itching to start construction. Tango Builder cites that structural engineers need 4 to 6 weeks to generate their initial solutions, and then they have to go back and forth with the architect. True story! And every single day that a project isn't open is a day of lost NOI. Shaving time off a critical path item is incredibly valuable to developers like me. But that's not the only reason why they're my number 1 pick. Their approach to the problem has incredible potential given the wave of construction technology, computational design, and 3D printing on the horizon. Their software allows users to plug in plans and requirements like location and construction materials. Then it spits out an initial design solution with material quantities, costs, and carbon footprint. It optimizes material usage and complies with local construction codes, so it saves weeks of time and material costs. Hello, structural engineer. I'm divorcing you. Tango Builder, will you marry me? Tango Builder has the greatest potential of the batch to push the evolution of real estate because it's directly involved with the construction technology that will gradually phase out traditional construction methods. They're the only startup in the batch that's not focused on taking a piece of a transaction by improving efficiencies. And they can expand into so many different areas from that base they're building. I'm really rooting for these guys. Thumbs up for them and thumbs up for me. You guys earn the approval of a real estate demigod. And once again, I'm going to wrap up with what's on my bookshelf. But once again, I don't own this book. So what did I get from the library since I was too cheap to buy them? Or Wittig Fiddle Sue Ticketbit. Since this is a Proptech Spotlight video, I think a fitting book to recommend is Kevin Kelly's The Inevitable, Understanding the 12 Technological Forces That Will Shape Our Future. This book outlines technological trends and human behaviors that serve as platforms on which new technologies will be based. It provides really good perspectives on how to think about where industries like real estate are headed. See you next time, Nooblets, and don't forget to subscribe!